Imagine a strategy so profound, it has the power to bleed a civilization with 1,000 cuts. This is the essence of ideological subversion, a methodology with roots dating back to the 1970s in the Soviet Union. Developed by a secret task team, this strategy was designed to dismantle a society from within, not through brute force, but by subtly distorting its cultural, moral, and political fabric. Now, let's take a step back, about 1,500 years back to a time when Bharat was under Islamic rule. This period saw the rampant use of ideological subversion, albeit in a different form. The invaders sought to destroy the civilization and its people. And they did this not just through torture and exploitation, but also through a more insidious means, conversion, and the imposition of jizya. What was jizya, you ask? Well, it was a form of tax levied on non-Muslims, or kafirs. The irony of it was that this tax was paid for protection, but the question that arises is, protection from whom? You see, the ones who were supposed to provide protection were the ones threatening their lives. If the locals refused to convert to Islam, they had to pay the jizya. If they didn't, they risked being killed or subjected to sexual slavery as per the governance policy of the time. But wait, did the act of subversion end with the fall of the Islamic rule in Bharat? Did it disappear with the last of the invaders? So, has this subversion stopped with the fall of the Islamic rule in Bharat? The answer is a resounding no. In fact, it took on a new form, a new face, and continued to erode the very foundations of Bharat's heritage and legacy. But that's a story for another time. For now, let's ponder over the origins of ideological subversion and its insidious impact on one of the greatest civilizations in history. The British, with their cunning, took the baton of subversion, but with a twist. They had a subtle approach, yet equally destructive. They used the same methodology of subversion as their predecessors, but with a more polished veneer. Instead of brutal force, they used intellectual manipulation, creating a class of intermediaries known as the Brown Sahibs. These were locals, educated in British institutions, who helped maintain control, exploit resources, and implement British policies. The Brown Sahibs were more than just puppets. They were the face of the British rule in Bharat, acting as administrators, judges, and scholars, molding the Bharat society according to British ideals. They were key to the British strategy of divide and rule, sowing seeds of discord among different communities, and exploiting caste and religious differences. The British continued the oppressive tax system, a remnant of the Islamic rule, but cleverly stopped the practice of sex slavery. This created a false sense of relief among the oppressed, making the British rule seem more benign. But the subversion continued, with the British systematically eroding Bharat's rich heritage, values, and self-esteem, replacing them with a sense of inferiority and a blind admiration for everything Western. This was a different kind of assault, an intellectual and cultural invasion. Bharat's traditional education system was replaced with English education, making the youth alien to their own culture. The British also controlled the narrative of Bharat's history, distorting facts and glorifying their rule. The Bharat warriors, who had never been defeated in warfare, were now outsmarted by these Brown Sahibs. The warriors fought with their weapons, but the Sahibs fought with their words, their laws, and their policies. The battle was no longer on the battlefield, but in the minds and hearts of the people. The British might have left Bharat, but the legacy of the Brown Sahibs lingers. It's evident in the continued use of English as a status symbol, in the distorted history textbooks, and in the societal divisions. The Bharat warriors, undefeated in warfare, were outsmarted by these Brown Sahibs, a legacy that lingers to this day. From the British era to Bharat independence, the Brown Sahibs have donned new masks. As the British Empire crumbled and Bharat stood on the precipice of freedom, these figures, the modern Brown Sahibs, merely changed their tactics, not their allegiances. Consider the likes of Raja Ram Mohan, the elite Brown Sahib of his time. He sold himself to the British, playing the oppressed card against Bharat's majority and crafting his own version of Hinduism. Today, this methodology is eerily reflected in the actions of Udayanidhi Stalin, son of the Tamil Nadu chief minister. Presenting himself as oppressed by the majority, he strives to eradicate Sanatana Dharma, the eternal way of life that is the foundation of Bharat's heritage. These modern Sahibs follow a well-trodden path of subversion. It's a four-stage process: demoralization, destabilization, crisis, and normalization. They begin by demoralizing the population, undermining faith in the traditional values and structures of society. Next, they destabilize the nation, causing widespread social and economic chaos. Then they create a crisis, an event so dramatic it demands immediate action. Finally, they offer a solution, a new normal, which invariably involves the relinquishing of freedoms and the consolidation of their power. This process, however subtle or overt, is designed to divide and rule, to sow discord among the people of Bharat. They exploit divisions of caste, cult, and race, divisions that were largely imposed by colonial powers. It's worth noting here that caste is a Portuguese term, a concept foreign to Bharat. The British deftly manipulated the concept of Varna into caste, creating a potent tool for division, a legacy the modern brown Sahibs still exploit. These modern Sahibs, however, are not just relics of a bygone era. They are active participants in the political arena, shaping Bharat's future to serve their interests. They are the inheritors of the colonial mantle, the perpetuators of a subversive legacy. The brown Sahibs of today, left behind by the Britishers, still carry their legacy, sowing division among caste, cult, and race. They continue to fan the flames of division, all while wearing the masks of progress and modernity. The lens through which Bharat's history is viewed has been distorted by these brown Sahibs. Let's delve into the intricate web spun by the British Empire, a web that continues to ensnare Bharat society even today. One of the most cunning strategies employed by the British was the manipulation of the concept of Varna. Originally, Varna was a flexible social structure based on profession and skill in ancient Bharat. However, the British, in their quest to create divisions among the natives, twisted this concept into the rigid, divisive system known as caste. This was a masterstroke of ideological subversion, creating chasms within society that persist to this day. Now meet a key player in this grand game of subversion, Motilal Nehru. A figure who moved comfortably in British circles, attending their parties with an air of pride, convinced of his own importance in shaping Bharat's destiny. What's fascinating about Motilal Nehru is that he never fired a single bullet. Yet his influence on Bharat's trajectory was profound. His actions, decisions, and alliances all played a crucial role in the direction our nation took. However, the irony lies in the fact that these brown Sahibs, despite their significant role in shaping Bharat's history, are rarely acknowledged for their contributions. They exist as shadows, their influence subtly resonating within the undercurrents of our society. Their legacy, albeit a controversial one, continues to shape our present and, if unchecked, will continue to influence our future. This manipulation and misinterpretation of Bharat's history is not merely an academic concern, but a matter that deeply affects our societal fabric. By understanding and acknowledging these hidden facets of our past, we can start to untangle the intricate web of subversion and reclaim our true heritage. The history of Bharat never truly acknowledged the role of the brown Sahibs, but their influence resonates in the undercurrents of our society. The act of ideological subversion has left an indelible mark on Bharat's history. Its roots run deep, interwoven into the fabric of our society, our politics, and our perception of the past. This strategy of manipulation and coercion, wielded by the brown Sahibs, has distorted our understanding of our own heritage. It was not the strength of foreign invaders that brought us low, but the treachery of those who looked like us, spoke like us, but ultimately served an alien cause. The brown Sahibs, armed with the weapon of subversion, systematically dismantled our collective identity, replacing our rich and diverse cultural heritage with an alien narrative. This infiltration didn't just affect our history, it pervaded our education, our social structures, and our collective consciousness, distorting the mirror through which we view ourselves. The impact of this subversion is still felt today. It's ingrained in the caste divisions, the religious conflicts, and the political instability that continue to plague our society. But it's not all doom and gloom. There's a silver lining to this dark cloud. The younger generation, you and I, have the power to challenge this narrative. We have the opportunity to reclaim our history, to understand the nuances of subversion, and to recognize the role of the brown Sahibs in our past. We can learn from our history, not to dwell on the past, but to shape our future. We must question the narratives that have been handed down to us, scrutinize the figures we've been taught to revere, and critically examine the structures that govern our society. With knowledge comes power. The power to rewrite our history, to reclaim our narrative, and to shape our future. It's a daunting task, no doubt, but it's a challenge we must rise to. After all, we are the heirs of a civilization that has withstood countless invasions, endured countless crises, and yet has always found a way to rise again. It's time to rewrite our history. Not with the ink of subversion, but with the pen of truth and resilience. Our history is not just a record of our past, but a blueprint for our future. Let's ensure it's a future we can be proud of.